It was fall 2005. Stephen Avery was starting a new life in his second year of freedom and suing Manitowoc County for $36 million for his wrongful conviction.
Investigators say the 25-year-old...
But another big story was shaking up this town. A young woman had gone missing.
I know if I was missing, I'd want somebody looking for me.
Her name was Teresa Hallbach, a 25-year-old photographer. She'd been out taking pictures in Manitowoc for Auto Trader magazine. After 2 days and no word from her, Teresa's family launched a search.
I just want her to come home.
Her parents were desperate for an answer.
Please, we beg you. We know she's out there. We just want to find her.
Ken Kratz was the district attorney of Calumet County back in 2005. He worked with investigators tracking Teresa's cell phone activity. Did you get an immediate hit on her cell phone?
We got information that suggested her phone was last used in or around the vicinity of Stephen Avery's salvage yard.
It was a stunning turn of events. Stephen Avery was back in the crosshairs of law enforcement. He quickly confirmed Teresa had been at the yard on October 31st. She'd come by to take pictures of this van that his sister was selling. Teresa even left a voicemail before she stopped by.
Hello, this is Teresa with Auto Trader magazine. I'm a photographer, and I'm just giving a call to let you know that I could come out there today in the afternoon. It will probably be around 2 o'clock.
Two things Kratz noticed. Even though Teresa had been there before to shoot photos, she didn't seem to know where she was going.
I don't have your address or anything, so I can't stop by without getting a call back from you.
And Avery had placed 2 calls to her that day, but blocked his caller ID. He told investigators Teresa did find her way and left around 2:30 after she took the photos. But investigators couldn't find anyone who had seen her since that visit to Avery's. For days, law enforcement followed lots of leads, but turned up nothing. Then, a big break. Police got a call.
We are at Avery Salvage.
Volunteers searching for Teresa found something, and one of them reported in to the Calumet County Sheriff.
We have found a RAV4. It is all covered up.
It's all covered up?
Not all covered, but it's got a lot of stuff on it, branches.
It was Teresa's car, right there in the Avery salvage yard. This is a big moment to find the car.
It is the moment. It is the moment that turns this case from a missing persons investigation into a criminal investigation.
Crime technicians transported Teresa's car to their lab, where it was scoured for evidence.
Male blood is found in the vehicle. Female blood is found in the vehicle. It's going to take a couple of days to get a DNA profile.
Calumet County authorities took the lead in the case because of the pending lawsuit Avery had filed against Manitowoc County. Detectives questioned Avery again.
Do you know where she's at? Oh, Teresa. Oh, no. Did you have anything to do with her at all disappearing? Or? No. And the only time she's ever been to your house is just knock on the door? Yeah, that's it.
Kratz says in another interview, Avery added this detail.
He also says, importantly, that he never touches the car, never touches the SUV at all.
But the evidence seemed to tell a different story. This bloodstain in particular, found on the dashboard of Teresa's car. The crime lab determined it was Avery's blood. Interestingly, Avery showed deputies a cut on his finger, and detectives zeroed in on something else, the car's hood latch, where they found Avery's DNA. None of it looked good for Avery, but just as he had before, he insisted they had the wrong guy.
I'd have to say I didn't do it.
He spoke out to NBC's Green Bay affiliate WGBA in a series of rarely seen interviews.
Did you have anything to do with Teresa's disappearance?
No. I would never do nothing like that.
But investigators didn't believe him and continued to search. Assistant DA Mike Griesbach remembers when he heard about the next gruesome discovery near Avery's trailer.
It's one of those scenes you don't forget in your mind. A police dog hit on this burn barrel where human bones and remains were found.
Officers also found bones in a second location on the Avery property. They were later confirmed to be Teresa's.
At that point, we knew that this was indeed very likely where Teresa Halbach met her last day.
Then, after multiple searches in Avery's trailer, one more big clue. A Manitowoc detective said he shook a small cabinet and this key fell to the floor. It was the key to Teresa's car, and it had Avery's DNA on it. On November 15th, 2 weeks after Teresa went missing, D.A. Kratz held a news conference.
I intend to file a criminal complaint in Manitowoc County charging Stephen Avery with first-degree intentional homicide.
Stephen Avery's 2 years of freedom suddenly screeched to a halt. The poster child for wrongful convictions was behind bars once again. But as they prepared to make their case, Kratz's team was stuck. They still didn't know exactly how and where Teresa died.
Absolutely.
Then, in early March 2006, 4 months after Teresa's death, Ken Kratz called another big press conference. He said Stephen Avery's nephew had confessed that he and Avery killed Teresa together. Kratz went into graphic detail, which we won't repeat here.
There is a substantial amount of physical evidence that now makes sense. All right, that now fits a lot of pieces together.
The prosecutor charged the nephew, 16-year-old Brendan Dassey, as a co-conspirator in Teresa's murder. With Dassey's statements, Kratz began constructing a narrative. And investigators returned to the Avery property once more and found this in his garage, a bullet fragment with Teresa's DNA on it.
It matched the rifle that was over Stephen Avery's bed.
With that, Kratz had a final piece of the puzzle. Stephen Avery's trial began in February 2007.
All of the evidence points to one person.
D.A. Kratz didn't call Brendan Dassey to the stand, but relied on the physical evidence to say what he believed happened. Stephen Avery lured Teresa out to his property, disguising his calls to her. Kratz said that when she got there, Avery shot her in his garage. He then shoved her into the back of her car and later burned her body.
The physical evidence, the DNA evidence, the eyewitness testimony, the scientific evidence, common sense, all point to one person.
But Avery's defense attorneys said that evidence pointed in a completely different direction.
What would a case look like if somebody was being framed? That it would look a lot like this case.
Coming up, the key.
Your theory is that the key was planted?
Yes. The bones.
There was clear evidence that the bones had been moved.
The blood.
It started to look really, really suspicious.
Was any of this evidence what it seemed?